much little time left. Years of squander, racing in circles to get to the finish line. Can't see straight, so instead go backwards, swinging on a thin thread, ticking off in my head numbers, faces, forgotten places, all wasted away, gone, over, dead. Against nature, the elements conspire. Hurricanes rip out my spinal cords. Brain waves no longer function. Central nervous system shuts down. Exhaust fumes choke the air. Something's caught in my throat, choking. Strangulate till I hallucinate. Empty out the memory banks. Sick of instant replay. Years crash into each other like seconds ago. It only seemed like yesterday was over, but it's never over. It's never over. It just goes on and on and on. Several ties. Release the pressure valves. Erase any trace of history. Start from scratch. Don't look back. Don't look forward. Don't look now. Don't waste time. Just do it. To dig a hole to the bottom of the well, you gotta shovel through a bushel of shit. This takes stamina and reserve. Even a strong stomach grows dizzy burrowing into a tunnel. Madness catches in the throat, constricting oxygen flow to the brain. Confusion follows. Dislocation, nausea, choking, spasms, cramps, sickness, a chemical imbalance caused by toxic abuse and psychological post-trauma stress disorder, which of course leads to obsessive-compulsive behavior. Disturbances in the crust cause cracks to spring up. Tremors of suspended disbelief. Disorientation, lost in the space of time, unable to relocate, center. If you move fast enough, you can outrun yourself. You can disappear. You can execute a stay of invisibility. Thin air is everywhere. I search for the thicket, open spaces, rivers, railroad tracks. Guns go off in my head. Rubber burns. Dogs attack. I'm torn between licking at my own wounds and kicking somebody in the fucking face. Combing my hair and slitting my wrist. Deep breaths, deep breaths, deep breaths. Deep breaths only go so far. I've already counted the seconds, the minutes, the hours, the years, the centuries. They're all wasted. Church bells go off like a funeral procession. I wasn't even innocent on my confirmation day. Sins written in blood become a Bible of disillusion, twisted hysteria, myopia, centrifugal subterfuge, chaos, abandonment. Cries turn to whispers, silence, taunts, blood thickens, muscles contract, tongues lick together at the tears from the womb. Relief is impossible to come by. Confusion mandates every emotion. Dead spots gel. Replicons instigate everything I try to escape from. Patterns are reproduced like tattoos on scar tissue. The mirror refracts, demanding the most obtrusive positions. We comply with body blows, which rattle the birdcage. 31 years later, the song remains the same. Dead daydreams drift by. The closing in, the shutting down, the terminal bliss of nothingness. Barely stirring, heart on hold, bars intact, a warden of my own reflection. hardly a flicker left. Frostbite. Something died inside a long, long time ago, and I'm just waiting on the revival, but there's no such fucking luck. A barren landscape. Sand, dirt, fire, ice, mud, blood, belly, empty, pounding head. Even the ache got bored and left. Pain, my old friend, no longer arouses. Dozed off light years ago. The history of luminous motion was written in stone. It's caved in by the rock. Mountains crumble, leaving a trail of dust, of dirt, of mud. Blood flows, but the pumps got rusty. Leaves a bitter aftertaste. Wastelands which go on for light years. Hollow caverns, empty caves, ancient temples, ruins. Monuments to scar tissue, adhesions, burns, tar pits, black holes. I gave up my future to live in the present. A constant inventory of a reinvented history. My nervous system shorted out. It got overloaded. Useless information, unrelated facts, figures, numbers, calculus, theories, traumas, time warp. A diminished sense of responsibility, urgency. What never mattered no longer does. Whatever did doesn't either. I vacillate between dead and dulled, deaf and dumb. Words jumble. Nothing moves. The air turns still. Breathing, but not breathing. Feeling like I just want to get the fuck out. Out of the sweltering shit pit of human indifference, where the only survival mechanism is inebriation, fabrication, obliteration, annihilation. And you know, I can't believe it's taken me this long to not be able to stand another fucking minute of it. A shining testimonial to my patience, my martyrdom, and no doubt my inbred stupidity. You know, maybe I just held out a little too much hope. False hope. You know, hope that things would change, improve, get better. Yeah, things have changed, all right. And as usual, for the worse. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not like trying to lay the guilt trip on you. I'm not trying to blame you. It's nothing you did or said. You wouldn't know what to fucking say or do. You're too busy trying to maintain your own false sense of equilibrium to recognize the warning signs. The dystopia, the inertia, the horror. You know, when you're on a treadmill trying to outrun the reaper, one eye over your shoulder and the other perpetually pre-planning the possible destruction of the ever-present enemy, it is impossible. It is impossible to ever actually make progress. When your pain threshold is your greatest accomplishment, then it's time for you to start reevaluating the last remaining days which are wasting away. You know, but I'll admit it. Because I am always the first one in line to take those night walks with the pain gods through the alley's mouth. I'm always the one suspended between the torture posts of limitation and desire, swaying gently in a breeze of desperation. But after all these years, I finally realized that this constant visualization of endless suffering, no, it wasn't in vain. It's just that maybe perhaps I've reached a chronic level of endless endurance. You know, it's one thing when you can't or never could control your own emotional disabilities and you persevere in making a public spectacle of the all too wide range of your own personal disintegration. It's another thing entirely altogether to have whatever remaining feelings might somewhere, somehow, still be buried deep inside you, prematurely pounded out, shoved aside, stepped on, crushed, and left to rot under a massive concrete block of terrorism, fear, misery, and pain. And that's why I want to get the fuck out. That's why I want to run away, escape. Because I refuse to become everything I hated everybody else, weak. And I realize I'm not trying to fool myself. I know I could fool you, easy, no problem, no doubt about it. I'm not trying to fool myself. I know all about exile. Exile. Exile is just a dream. It's a dream of a return to a place that you can't remember. It takes you someplace you've never been before. Someplace that doesn't even exist. Not on my roadmap. But at least there I feel stopped dead in the night of space. The burial ground of forever. Nothing but heat, light, gravity, motion, and matter. And that's what I could use right now. Something that fucking matters. Something that matters a little bit more, at least, than a single lone voice screaming into the fucking void. Because around here, screaming is the only way that you can make yourself heard, especially over all these other fucking derelict fanatics who are out on the streets of New York City slinging out those slogans I'm so fucking sick of listening to. Like, stop the violence, stop the violence, stop the violence. The violence, it hasn't even really started yet. And none of this shit, no blood for oil, no blood for oil, no blood for oil, why the fuck not? And don't give me this give peace a chance shit. When did that ever fucking work? You know, another thing that pisses me off is where were all those fucking yuppie scum protesters? Why weren't they complaining about the war in their own backyards, which has been raging for countless years by now, spreading a reign of fear and panic in the inner city, where poverty, pollution, and war, they're no longer metaphors for the state. They are the chronic state of being. But at least I can relate to that. I can relate to pitting the ghetto against the borough, the black against the white, the unfortunate against everybody else. Makes sense. I mean, after all, you know that anyway, I am proud to be an American, land of the free, home of the brave. Hell yeah. I mean, this country was founded on conquest, bloodshed, rape. And those are some things I can personally identify with. I can understand it. Might makes right. And my question is, why shouldn't we be allowed to fucking show it? You know, all these people complaining about us waging war against innocent people in a land that time forgot thousands of miles away, they're all forgetting. They are all forgetting it is our God-given duty to wipe out that megalomaniacal madman before he wipes everybody else out. And he's completely capable of doing it. He's already got the chemical and biological warfare, and he is not afraid to use it. He's proved it by turning the gas hoses on his own people, wiping out 1/4 of the population. Closer, my God, to thee. Oh, yes, and in the name of Allah, I too would be willing to die in a blaze of glory. I say bomb those fucking oil fields. Send them all up in smoke. I mean, he's already on a suicide mission, utterly convinced that his is the only way. The right way, and after all, might makes right. But he just ain't that fucking high and mighty yet. You know, he thinks he's big, he's bad, he's tough, he's hard. He thinks he's got 1,000,000 soldiers. Well, we got 1,000,001 bombs, so let's fucking use them. I say, let the bombs drop where they may. And you may be asking this question, election or assassination? Scum manifesto or Scud missile? The choice is yours. You know, it's nothing new. War has been raging in the Middle East for 8,000 years. Yeah, the cradle of civilization. But war is older than man himself. So the quicker it's over with, the better everyone's gonna feel. And besides, I look forward to mutually assured destruction. Bomb, damage, assessment. It makes me wet thinking about all these hot-headed, hard guys, all these big shots who aren't afraid to prove themselves, who aren't afraid to just fucking do it. I mean, they feel like I do anyway. They feel exactly like I do. They know that war is peace, ignorance is strength, slavery is freedom. Let's just fucking do it. Why not bully everyone, intimidate the entire rest of the world, and let them know, yes, we are the masters of the universe. And anyway, I love living out my sexual frustrations, my sexual fantasies of atomic terrorism on electronic battlefields, because I want to arrive at that final climax. Total destruction. Yeah. Because for me, that is something that I can finally believe in. Freedom and liberty for all. I say, go ahead. Make my day. Drop the fucking bomb. See if I care. What are they waiting for? Doomsday? Well, it's here. So annihilate, obliterate, blow the whole fucking place sky high. I mean, just think about it. You'll probably be living right to the very end. And by that time, they will have found a way to be done with pollution, poverty, war, the plague, herpes, all of it. One fell swoop, one clean sweep, the cheap and the economical way. Instead of continuing on this war at $1 billion a day, just fucking get it over with, end it now, let's do it, come on. Same conclusion, total destruction. And that can't be any worse than what's happening in this city, slow rot. You know, war is the state we live in. And I say in order to prevent the overpopulation in the occupied territories where collapse is imminent, we can't be afraid to lose. We have got to fight to win, not fear the reaper. If it's double or nothing, then you better be ready to bet your fucking life, because the stakes are so high that you'll probably die. But you're tough, so you could probably take it. You know, but it's up to you. Total destruction, slow decay. Are you gonna fight, or are you gonna defect? I mean, I am all for wiping the slate clean, a fresh start, a new beginning, another world, a different life, a couple dozen new lovers, preferably Latin and self-modeled after Castro or Gaddafi, because face it, I look for the same thing in a man that I look for in a good war. Heavy artillery. Unlimited arsenal. The ability to strike first, strike back, attack, defend, detonate, destroy. Someone who's not afraid to utilize their natural resources, and who by any means, all means necessary, will barge to the front line, take a firm stand, go toe-to-toe with his natural foe, and wipe the fucker off the face of this goddamn planet, proudly protecting his home turf. Hey, I'm willing to die in the name of honor and glory, because I know it's better to die being right, to die for your rights, than to die being wrong. And you know, face facts, you can't fight war with peace. You can't fight war with peace. And anyone who thinks you can't fight violence with violence never tried dealing with any of these maniacs, obviously. It can't be done. To me, blood is the wine of victory. And that's what pisses me off about all these peace rallies. They don't get anything done. No one is listening to them. You gotta fight fire with fire. If you want to make your voice heard, then why don't you pick up a fucking bomb instead of a bullhorn, lob it onto the White House lawn, Camp David, the Pentagon, City Hall, Gracie Mansion. You want to send a message, then you better stand your ground. You know, it's not enough to just say no. Everybody's too busy running around with their heads up their goddamn ass, afraid to get their hands dirty, turning a blind eye, looking out for number one, taking care of business and working overtime, yeah. is big business. And it's good for business. Look at the stock market, yeah. But there's a lot of competition out there. So if you want to get ahead in business, you got to be able to run with the big boys. You got to be willing to get up there and work your ass off. You got to play the game by their rules, and we all know the first rule: no rules. So what are you waiting for? The time is now. Do you want to survive, break through, and conquer? Or do you want to suffocate swallowing the shit assholes who don't give a flying fuck about where you're coming from, where you're going to, or even whether or not you live or die? You know, I know if it's kill or be killed. I know exactly what end of the goddamn barrel I'm going to be staring down. But the choice is now up to you. Are you going to allow the criminals and escaped outpatients to continue having all the fun, running the asylum, or are you going to start taking the law into your own hands? It's easy. It's simple. All the available weapons ready for you to just seize. Midnight raids, looting, drive-by shootings, grenades, sniping, bank robbing, firebombing, sabotage, hand-to-hand combat. These weapons are readily available to us. All supplied with hands-on experience, no previous knowledge necessary. I say get the urge and act on it. You know my motto. You know it because I've been saying it for years. You can't beat them, kill them. You can't kill them, fuck them. You can't fuck them, kill them. You can't do it good, you better do it goddamn hard. And take no prisoners. Yeah. Take no prisoners. As a matter of fact, send the fucking prisoners. Send the fucking prisoners. Why are we sending corn-fed boys from Iowa to the front lines to fight when we could save $1 billion a year, or one day in war terms, by emptying out the goddamn prisons and sending the 1 million professional killers locked inside the big house to Baghdad? Think about it. You know, how do you think Hussein got 1.3 million troops? He didn't go out and employ nuclear physicists and daycare workers. That guy was smart. He went out and he got the convicts, the derelicts, the homeless, the religious fanatics, the drug addicted. He let them do his dirty work. Let's deploy the same strategy. Send them all out to the middle of nowhere where they can have all the fun they want, raping and killing and getting paid for it while earning their high school equivalency diploma, singing the Star-Spangled Banner, all in the name of honor and glory. I mean, after all, their life is cheap. Their life is cheap, but that's free. Life is cheap, but death is freedom. Oh, yeah. Baptismal in blood, baptismal in blood, baptismal in blood. Oh, death wears the proof of a crown from the kings. Oh, yeah. You know, I'm glad, because I always knew it. I am glad that the illusion of freedom finally disappeared. That the horizon has finally been abolished. I always knew that slavery was freedom, that war is peace, and I knew, too, that peace, not profitable. So in order to readdress the imbalance of power, I've got to plead with you now. I know you all want to quit your day jobs. You all want to get ahead in business. You all want more money, more fame, more power, more glory. Then enter into the fucking war. Get a gun. You need a gun, you want a gun, then go out and get yourself a goddamn gun, a Scud missile, a 22, a 45, a 357, an AK, an Uzi, a ballistic, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to make you feel bigger, better, badder, and better able to defend yourself, because you better learn how to fucking defend yourself right about now. You can't wait for Big Daddy, Big Brother, Uncle Sam, no one else. They don't care, they don't give a shit. World War III. Oh, I don't want to predict it. You don't have to, asshole. It's here. The one thing I love about the war, how I know how to relate, why I can relate, is because the war, I know all about it. The war is just an orgy, and I love orgies of senseless violence, kicked off by an army of drunken hooligans who, in order to pump up that last fading trickle cycle of their waning sexuality have got to pick up bombs and bricks and bullets so that they can better penetrate the flesh of my flesh, the flesh of my enemy. Oh, hey, anyway, the death of another living being, it means nothing to me. The death of another living being, it means nothing to me. I mean, one death is a tragedy. But 1 million, merely a statistic. So don't just fucking stand there, shoot something. Yeah. Because this is the end, oh yeah. This is the moment I have been waiting for. This is my final glory, my final moment, my finest hour. This is the end, beautiful friend, the end. No laughter, no surprise. The end of the white man's revolution. The end of the hypocrisy of the Republic of Democracy. The end of Stalinism, Marxism, fascism, capitalism, humanism. Oh yes, the end. Yeah. Keep the fear. Fear of a female planet.